What if I told you the Wild West never really died? That the legendary towns, the epic gunfights, and that untamed spirit of the American frontier aren't just stories in a history book, but adventures you can actually experience today. We're about to saddle up and journey through America's forgotten frontier, exploring towns like Tombstone and Deadwood where legends were born. We'll uncover the historic gunfights and gold rushes, and also the modern experiences that are keeping the cowboy spirit alive and kicking. So grab your hat, because we're about to stir up some dust and discover the greatest Wild West adventures you never knew existed. Our journey starts in the Arizona desert, in a place that's more than a town. It's a legend. This is Tombstone, a name that echoes with the crack of gunfire and the jingle of silver dollars. They call it the town too tough to die, and it's probably the most infamous of all Wild West boomtowns. This is the very ground where history's most iconic shootout happened, the gunfight at the OK Corral. Back in the late 1800s, Tombstone was a silver rush town, pulling in prospectors, merchants, and a rough crowd of cowboys and outlaws. This volatile mix was a powder keg, mostly between the Earp brothers, Virgil, Morgan, and the legendary Wyatt, their friend Doc Holliday, and a gang of outlaws known as the Cowboys. On October 26, 1881, that tension exploded in a hail of bullets on a dusty street near the OK Corral. In just 30 seconds, 3 men were dead, and a legend was forged that would define the Wild West forever. But the story of Tombstone doesn't stop there. Stepping onto Allen Street today is like walking straight back into that era. The wooden boardwalks creak, and the historic buildings stand like silent witnesses. You can feel the history, especially when you stand at the site of the OK Corral, where actors in period dress bring the gunfight to life with daily reenactments. You can grab a drink at Big Nose Kate's Saloon, a lively spot that was once the Grand Hotel, a favorite of the Earps and Doc Holliday. The place is packed with history, character, and maybe a ghost or two. A few doors down is the Birdcage Theater. It's been preserved, not just restored, and was once a saloon, theater, and gambling hall so wicked the New York Times called it the wildest, wickedest night spot between Basin Street and the Barbary Coast. You can still see bullet holes in the walls, a reminder of the 14 gunfights that happened right inside. Modern-day Tombstone is basically a living museum. You can take a stagecoach tour, visit the Boot Hill Graveyard where the gunfight's victims are buried, or check out the Tombstone Courthouse State Historic Park. For a real trip back in time, you can even go down into one of the silver mines that started it all, like the Good Enough Mine Tour. It's a place where history isn't just remembered, it's relived every day, proving Tombstone is, in fact, too tough to die. Next, we're heading north to the Black Hills of South Dakota, to a town born from a different kind of frantic rush, this time for gold. This is Deadwood, which for a while was one of the most lawless places in America. Founded illegally on Lakota land in 1876, Deadwood was a magnet for anyone seeking fortune and a place to lay low. Its most famous residents are the stuff of legends: Calamity Jane, the hard-drinking, straight-shooting frontierswoman, and James Butler Hickok, better known as Wild Bill. Wild Bill was a famed lawman and gunslinger, a man who always sat with his back to a wall. Always, until August 2nd, 1876. On that day in Nuttall and Mann's saloon, later called Saloon Number 10, the only chair left faced the door. Hickok hesitated but joined the poker game. It was a fatal mistake. A drifter named Jack McCall walked in and shot him in the back of the head. The poker hand he held, black aces and black eights, became forever known as the dead man's hand. Today, Deadwood has managed to hold on to its wild heritage. The whole town is a National Historic Landmark, and walking down Main Street feels like you're on a movie set. You can visit the site of Saloon Number 10 and see the chair where Wild Bill supposedly sat. The streets even come alive with shootouts and reenactments of Jack McCall's trial. But the most moving stop in Deadwood is up on the hill at Mount Moriah Cemetery. Here you can find the final resting places of Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane, who was buried next to him years later by her own request. It's a surprisingly peaceful spot, a stark contrast to the town's rowdy history. Deadwood isn't just about history, though. In 1989, gambling was legalized, bringing a new kind of boom. The historic saloons now house lively casinos, mixing the thrill of the jackpot with an authentic Old West vibe. There are also incredible museums, like the Adams Museum and the Days of '76 Museum. For outdoor lovers, the Black Hills offer hiking and biking trails, scenic drives, and close proximity to Mount Rushmore and Devil's Tower. Deadwood is a town where the ghosts of legends walk beside you, and every corner has a story of gold, grit, and gambling. Now we're leaving the gunslingers and gold miners behind and heading south, deep into Texas Hill Country. Our destination is a small town with a huge title, Bandera, the cowboy capital of the world. This place wasn't built on shootouts, but on something just as vital to the American West, the cowboy. Bandera's story is all about the great cattle drives. In the late 1800s, this town was a key staging area for the Great Western Trail, where massive herds of longhorns were driven north to Kansas. This was the cowboy's life, long, hard days in the saddle. It was a life of grit and independence, and that's a spirit Bandera has never lost. Unlike other Old West towns that can feel like museums, Bandera feels real, a living, breathing hub of cowboy culture. This is where you don't just see the West, you live it. The area is full of dude ranches that offer immersive experiences. You can saddle up your own horse for a trail ride through the stunning Hill Country State Natural Area, a landscape that looks much the same as it did 150 years ago. The experience is more than just riding. Many ranches offer the full cowboy lifestyle, learning to rope, helping with cattle, and gathering around a campfire for a chuck wagon dinner under the big Texas sky. In Bandera itself, you can catch a live rodeo, watch artisans at work, or listen to country music at a genuine honky-tonk, like the 11th Street Cowboy Bar. The town even hosts the Bandera Roundup, which features a longhorn cattle drive right down Main Street. You can stop by the Frontier Times Museum to see pioneer history, but the real magic of Bandera is its authenticity. It's a town where you can still see real cowboys, where local saloons have served generations of ranchers, and where the title, Cowboy Capital of the World, is earned every single day. We've walked the streets of Tombstone, uncovered the legends of Deadwood, and lived the cowboy life in Bandera. 3 incredible adventures, each with its own vibe. So which one is it for you? Let us know in the comments which town you'd head to first. And if you're enjoying this trip, hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got plenty more of the frontier to explore. For our next stop, we're heading to a town founded by the man who brought the Wild West to the world. We're in Cody, Wyoming, the town that owes its existence to the one and only William F. Buffalo Bill Cody. Buffalo Bill was more than a scout and bison hunter. He was the ultimate showman. His Wild West show was a global sensation that shaped how the world saw the American frontier. After a lifetime of adventure, he decided to create a town he loved, right near Yellowstone National Park. Today, Cody stands as a testament to his vision and is known as the rodeo capital of the world. The heart of the town is the incredible Buffalo Bill Center of the West. This isn't just one museum. It's 5 world-class museums under one roof. There's the Buffalo Bill Museum, the Plains Indian Museum, the Whitney Western Art Museum, the Draper Natural History Museum, and the Cody Firearms Museum. You could spend days here and still not see it all. Just outside of town, you can step back even further in time at Old Trail Town. This isn't a replica. It's a collection of authentic 19th century frontier buildings moved from across Wyoming and Montana. You can walk through outlaw cabins, a blacksmith shop, and a historic saloon to get a real feel for what life was like. Buffalo Bill's showmanship is still alive and well in Cody. Every single night from June to August, the Cody Night Rodeo kicks off, a tradition that makes this town a hub for rodeo culture. and you can still catch the Wild Bunch gunfighters putting on a show in the street. Cody is a unique blend of authentic history and thrilling entertainment, a gateway to the wonders of Yellowstone and a living monument to the man who packaged the West and sold it to the world. So far, we've explored the towns that shaped the legends, but the true spirit of the frontier wasn't just in saloons. It was forged in the wide open spaces, in the daily life of a cowboy. And today, that experience is closer than you think. From high-energy fun to authentic working ranches, there are adventures that let you step right into a cowboy's boots. Our first stop on this leg takes us back to Arizona for a different kind of Wild West experience. The Blazin' M Ranch in Cottonwood. This place takes the fun of the frontier and cranks it up. Before you sit down to a classic chuck wagon dinner, you can try your hand at axe throwing, a shooting gallery, and even a mechanical bull. It's a high-energy, family-friendly way to get a taste of the Old West, all capped off with a live country western stage show. But what if you want something deeper, more authentic? For that, you need a dude ranch. Arizona and Texas are home to some of the best guest ranches, offering an unfiltered connection to the cowboy lifestyle. Places like the Stagecoach Trails Guest Ranch in Arizona put you in the heart of the desert, bordering hundreds of thousands of acres of pristine wilderness. This is where you can go on trail rides through landscapes dotted with saguaro cacti, far from any crowds. These ranches offer more than just horseback riding. You can take roping lessons, try team penning with cattle, or just relax by a campfire under a blanket of stars. Some, like Stagecoach Trails, even offer unique stays in a Conestoga Pioneer wagon for a truly memorable experience. This is where the cowboy fantasy becomes reality. It's about waking up with the sun, spending the day in the saddle, and experiencing the profound quiet of the American wilderness. Every Wild West boomtown started with the promise of a fortune. While gunfights and cattle drives get the glory, it was the relentless search for gold and silver that really built the West. Our next adventure takes us high into the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, to what was once known as the world's greatest gold camp, the Cripple Creek and Victor Mining District. These towns offer a different view of the Wild West, one built on pickaxes and dynamite, not six-shooters. At nearly 10,000 feet, this area was the site of one of the last great American gold rushes. Life was tough. Miners faced brutal winters and dangerous work, always gambling on striking it rich. But the wealth that came out of these mountains was staggering, creating boom towns with opulent Victorian buildings and grand hotels. Today, visiting Cripple Creek and Victor is like discovering a lost chapter of Western history. While Cripple Creek now has casinos on its historic streets, the past is everywhere. The real adventure is getting a first-hand look at the industry that built it all. You can tour a historic gold mine like the Molly Kathleen, or drop 1,000 feet straight down into the earth on America's only vertical shaft gold mine tour, seeing gold veins still glittering in the rock. For a different view, you can ride the Cripple Creek and Victor Narrow Gauge Railroad, a vintage steam train that chugs through the historic mining district. The nearby town of Victor feels more like a ghost town, with historic buildings and mining structures dotting the landscape. A massive modern gold mine still operates today, a powerful reminder that the Wild West was built as much by the hard rock miner as the cowboy, and that some of the greatest adventures are waiting deep beneath the earth. For our final adventure, we're heading to a corner of the country you might not expect, the Pacific Northwest. But here, in Pendleton, Oregon, we find a unique version of the frontier, where cowboy culture, Native American heritage, and a surprisingly scandalous past all come together. In the late 1800s, Pendleton was the entertainment capital of eastern Oregon, a rowdy town with 32 saloons and 18 brothels. But much of its most infamous history happened out of sight, in a network of tunnels beneath the city. These tunnels were largely built by Chinese laborers who, facing intense discrimination, created their own community underground. This hidden world had businesses, laundries, and also the shadier side of frontier life, opium dens and secret card rooms. Today, one of the most unique adventures in the West is the Pendleton Underground Tour. This guided tour takes you down into this hidden city, through the original tunnels to see the preserved history. It's a raw, unfiltered look at a part of the West often left out of the storybooks. Pendleton's identity is also deeply tied to both the American cowboy and the local Umatilla, Cayuse, and Walla Walla tribes. This blend is perfectly showcased at the world-famous Pendleton Woolen Mills, where you can tour the factory and see the iconic blankets being made. The town is also home to the legendary Pendleton Roundup, one of the most prestigious rodeos in the country, a massive event that celebrates cowboy skill and tradition. Pendleton proves the spirit of the frontier reached every corner of America, each with its own incredible stories to tell. From the gunfights of Tombstone to the gold-fevered hills of Deadwood, from the cowboy heart of Bandera to the showman's paradise in Cody, from the underground secrets of Pendleton to life on a dude ranch, our journey shows that the American West isn't a myth. It's not a memory. It's a living, breathing adventure that has changed but never vanished. That untamed spirit, the stories of grit and glory, and the vast, beautiful landscapes are all still out there, waiting. The saloons are still pouring, the horses are still saddled, and the legends are waiting to be heard. The Wild West never died. It's just waiting for you to answer its call. So the real question isn't if the Wild West still exists, but which adventure you'll choose first. Let us know your dream destination in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adventures. Until next time, happy trails.